I'm finally getting my teeth into it, you know, like I've got 3 ladies now who I'm doing a beta test with. So I'm literally I've sat down and spoken with each of them separately to work out whether they're a candidate, you know, a proper candidate for this program.
Yep.
And I believe their motivation is definitely there, and they want to do it, and they do want to genuinely create change in their lives. So I think it's good timing. I think most of the material I've adapted from your material, so it's my own, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable with using your stuff. You know, I know you're very...
What do you mean, stuff?
Well, I know you've been very generous, you know, and you said just change the logo to mine and that. So I've done that, but I'm just putting at the bottom, I'm referencing you and just referencing, because I just think that I just feel bad about, I just feel like I'm stealing your stuff. So I need to just recognize the source. So that's what I'm doing, but I'm also modifying it a fair bit, you know, so that it's...
Maybe, Paul, you can step in there and see why Kathy kind of feels bad about... Because that's actually like, you know, there's no reason to feel bad there at all about, you know, you're not stealing anything at all. It's there to be used.
Yeah, and I really do appreciate that. And so I'm definitely using it because there's some great stuff in there. But I think it's just what do you have a word for it? But my word is paradigm. You know, your baseline comfort levels. So from where my background is, you've always got a reference, and otherwise you're plagiarizing. You know what I mean? Like that's...
Well, the ironic thing, Kathy, is that, you know, it's not stealing if someone gives it to you. Like, we're not retards. I'm so politically incorrect. You know what I mean? But like, we're not idiots. Like, we've given it to you to use. Like, we're not like, you're not taking advantage of our generosity. But at the same time, like, if you take what we've given you and then make it your own, you'll get better results probably, because you'll be able to speak from your reference point. And I give you a great example. In a lot of the webinars and online sales presentations, when I first started doing them, I'd copy a mentor's format that he would give us. It's like, here's my stuff, just use it. Okay, cool, but make it your own. And I thought, well, why change it so much if it's already working? Like, I'm just going to, you know, change a few key words here and there. And my voice, like, as the chameleon that I am, would just match his. So I do give this presentation, which is like, you know, tonality and all these different things, the same as the one that we've got. And it worked all right. But, you know, once we started to put our own phrasing into it and our own kind of energy into it and all that kind of stuff, it hits the road better, because ultimately you attract the audience that you speak to the most naturally. And if you're speaking in Lynn's phrasing and Lynn's wording and all that kind of stuff, you know, there's a level of unauthenticity going on, not intentionally, but, you know, what do we know about talking to nurses, for example? You know, like, your audience is more suited to what comes out of you naturally. So you're just taking the structure. If you want, take it how you want to take it, but you'll find pieces that will fit really well, and you'll be able to overlay your personality, and it'll hit the road better, you know?
Yeah.
The audience.
Yeah. I was thinking about sending you a couple of things to see what your thoughts were on it.
Yeah, well, I'd rather you brought them to these calls than in the middle of the day. That's what these calls are for. But I'm very happy to. If you want to do it for Thursday's call, be glad to.
Okay. I mean, it's essentially just my twist on it, you know, from a slightly different lens, but the content and the message is very similar, you know.
Yeah, well, that's what we're here for. So, you know, Lynn will tell you what she thinks. I'll tell you what I think, and you'll have a whole bunch of things.
So yeah, I'm ready, and I'm just about to order all the saliva tests for them, the kits. So I found out that I can actually store them. I can just buy them in bulk and just keep them here, and then just send them out as I need them. So, or else you can just do it, as you know, online and just do it one at a time. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but there could be an advantage of just having, you know, a bunch here, but then you don't have the time delay, I guess, as much. Did you just did it individually, Lynn, didn't you? Just as you had a new client, you just order it for that particular
I used to order by bulk, so I used to have bulk, you know, saliva kits, and then as I had clients come on board, I used to just send them out individually.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm thinking that might be a simpler way to do it. But yeah. And
I mean, whatever works best. But that was only because, see, you guys get charged postage to and things like that, so you have to work out the postage and that. Whereas because I bought in bulk, I'm on a different not wholesale rate. I'm on the same, but just on a different format as far as they send out a big kit of box of kits, to us, and we pay for the postage on the box.
Rather than individual.
Yeah, that's correct.
No, that sounds good. Yeah, I think I might do that. Yeah. But yeah, I'm really excited. It's finally starting, and I'm ready to get into it. So I've got the Calendly. Have you heard of Calendly? I don't know if you use that one. It's a self-registration for meeting times.
Yeah.
So got that sorted, and I'm about to set them up on the private Facebook group just for our little group. So I think I just need to just do it, basically. So, but that's to be quite simple with only 3 ladies. I think it's not that hard, is it?
No, it's not. No, and you'll do absolutely well. Yeah.
And then I was thinking about putting a webinar on through Zoom and doing it that way. So doing the weekly PowerPoint presentations with Zoom in that forum. Just to. Otherwise, I can see how you would spend a lot of time doing it individually. It's much better in a group, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, I found it a lot more time efficient in a group. But having said that, you know, you get results from one-on-one as well. So it just depends on individual ladies as well. Yeah.
One thing I wasn't sure about is indemnity insurance.
Yeah, it's best to have that.
Yeah. So is that as part of being a personal trainer, are you covered, or do you go through a different company?
Just trying to think who we have got ours through, but that is for presenting, for coaching. It covers coaching, it covers webinars, seminars, all that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I might or I could also do it maybe through my registration as an RN.
Yeah. I think ours, Paul, is through Parmia. I think that's the name of it, Parmia, or I think that's who it's from.
Right,
but they're really good.
Yeah. I'll look into that.
Yeah.
Because these are like friends of mine that I'm doing this. I feel like it is literally a beta test. So I feel like I can do this kind of thing in tandem.
Yeah.
And they're still going to their GP and things like that. So I feel confident, you know, in that. But yeah, I'll definitely look into that.
Yeah, it's just really important, especially in Australia. I mean, New Zealand here, they don't have, you know, you can't sue anyone or anything like that, but in Australia you can. So it's just really important, you know, to have at least 10 million.
Yeah. All right. No, that's good to know. That would kind of suck, wouldn't it?
Yeah. How are you, Kim and Gary?
Hi, very good.
Good, thanks, Lynn.
How are you?
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, I'm really, really good. Yep.
Excellent.
As I mentioned earlier, it's a little on the chilly side, but yeah, it's I mean, a lot warmer now. We've got the fire going, but in the morning we've got snow on the mountains already, so it's my little walk down to the river to sit on the side of the river and contemplate life may not be happening in the morning at 0 degrees. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe at the coffee shop around the fire or something.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan. Pat your back.
Oh, yeah, like super good. Super
Oh,
good. Yeah,
Oh,
I
good.
mean, as you can see, I'm sitting on the couch with on the bed with my legs folded, like I'm in zero pain, like zero.
Well done.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So going for a massage tomorrow. So yeah. But apart from that, like fantastic. Yeah, really, really good. So how's things? I mean, sorry, Paul, I don't know. You're going to talk about your video today, or how's that going to roll out? Can't hear you. You're muted.
Story of my life. No, I'm just joking.
Hi, Paul.
G'day.
How are you?
Yeah, good thanks, guys. Well, if you guys want to talk, I'm happy to do it at the end. So,
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I guess as far as your, where you're at with your course and that, what's happening with you guys there? Where are you up to?
We're continuing on through the course, Lynn. We're actually we've been sort of watching it over and over again just to get our confidence up and our knowledge. And I'm working on just PowerPoints and ebooks and things like that, and just basically adopting your ebooks and so forth, and just we've created a logo, and I'm just trying to make everything look pretty at the moment. So I've got a nice library, which that's sort of one of the things I love doing. Not that I'm doing a great job of it, so we're just trying to get that going. But funnily enough, lovely. She's a former colleague, or sort of we know her through another colleague, has been doing some online training with us, and she's reached out to us today, which is probably the universe saying, "Come on, guys, get your act together." And has asked for some help because she's been struggling with she's in her 40s, 47. Her hormones
good.
have been all over the place, and she's also had questionable gallbladder, which I'm not sure about. So we're going to basically have her on board as our first menopause client, which is great.
That's pretty exciting.
It'll be all done remotely, but we're going to get her, because she had some bloods done about a year ago and said, "Oh yeah, the doctor said I'm all normal."
Of course they did.
Yeah, of
course they said it was all right.
But yeah, we're really keen to help her as much as we can, and she's excited that she's going to be a little guinea pig, and she knows that we're just still learning. Not guinea, sorry.
We're not going to charge her, and we can help her, and we can learn doing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, why not?
Yeah.
Hey, let's face it, guinea pigs are cute.
Yeah, they are. I do love guinea pigs.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? Yeah, I know what you mean. But it's good. And all right, let's also because we're going to do a workshop.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're going to do a good friend of mine's. He does speaking and stuff. That's his thing.
You would probably know.
You know Craig Harper.
Oh, I know Craig Harper. Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we're pretty close friends. So he's sort of just going to help us out a little bit with just some, just ways to I guess, get the message across better and just
tell
I guess
us how bad
structure,
we are when we get up in front of him and
just help us structure it. You know what I mean? Like, so it's sort of, I guess, because if I get up there and start, well, bloody hell, if I just get up and start talking, it'll be, God, they'll all walk out. So he will.
Won't get two words out
he's willing to help us. Do you know what I mean? So that's good. And we've said, and he was really good. So he said, mate, you can't get good at something you're not doing. I'm like, well, yeah, that's right. So yeah, so we're doing things. And then when we saw Paul's post on the weekend, we were like, yes, right, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, hey, no, that's awesome. Congratulations. I workshops and seminars are a really, really good way to really get your foot in the door. And Paul is going to talk about that shortly. So, yeah, well done. And, when it comes to doing seminars, like there's certain parts of the seminar and that, being a duo, that you can do really, really well, Gary. Really well. And then other parts, you just find that role that you two can play, other parts that will come, better from Kim, maybe,
Yeah, totally.
But, when it comes to the physiology of the menstrual cycle and of the stages of a woman's life, that's easy for you to talk about.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. We thought like, Kim would sort of probably, I mean, I might even talk a bit about mindset, where Kim would talk a bit more about the hormone stuff.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, just sort of like share it a bit, So
yeah. And also, when it comes to the hormones, it's not only that, but, talking about how hormones, the influences are, outside influences, lifestyle influences, how they affect your hormones. That's quite a neutral ground that can be spoken about. Yeah. No, that's really cool. Well done.
Yeah.
It's probably a small informal one, but we just thought.
Yeah, that's right. We'll just start small and then we grow, and it's all right. Bit by bit,
absolutely.
It'll be right. It'll be good.
Got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, that's right. Well, the first one will be the worst, won't it? We'll only get better from there. So.
Yeah, but one thing that my mentor, when I first started doing seminars, she actually said to me that all you've got to do is remember that that little bit more than they do. So they've come to watch, listen to you, so that little bit more than what they do. And I've always just kept that in the back of my mind, And one thing that I have always done is, if I really, right at the beginning when I started doing seminars, there were a lot of things that I didn't know. And so if I was faced with a question, it was always, fantastic. That's a great question. At this point in time, I'm not sure about that, but I would love to give you the accurate information. So if you can come up and speak to me later, then we can exchange details and I'll, get back to you on that one. Yeah,
that's right. And that's the best way to handle it. Yeah, I think people will respect that anyway. They go,
well, there's nothing worse than getting up there and bullshitting your way through it, and there isn't.
We're loud nose.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The thing is, it's just being authentic and honest when you get up there, and just know that a little bit more than what they do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. That's all good.
Yeah, cool, awesome.
Well, you could be Gary. You could be the poster boy for menopause, mate. I think that's a great thing. And you can say, ladies, once you get your hormones in check, you could find a man like me. I'm in a gym.
Oh, dear.
That's beautiful.
Actually, I love that video of you on the scooter. Was that a beer you had in your hand?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, that was gold. Oh, that was gold. It's like one hand, the other hand with the bottle of beer was gold. I loved it.
I tell you what, you should have seen us towards the end of the night, Gary. We friends of ours, they've got a golf buggy over here.
Right.
And, there's no roads, there's no police, so there's no laws over here. You just, you trolley off home when you golf buggy. And,
yeah.
It was on. I tell you what, it was on, and they were chasing me. Now that thing does 50 k's an hour.
Wow.
And I've got a beer in one hand, and I've got these guys chasing me like Smokey and the Bandit. I'm riding a motorbike like this. Yeah. Dodging wallabies.
Yeah,
that's getting in touch with your inner child.
Yeah, never lose touch, eh? That's good.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was hilarious. I laughed. Oh, that was great.
Got to give the damn thing back too.
And it was so natural. It was like just the way you cruise, like you'd been on the bike for years. It was like.
That's right.
Well, it's a shame to give the thing back because it's really stable because it's got tyres like this on it, as you probably noticed.
Yeah, saw that. Yeah.
And the governments they've banned them. You can't bring them into the country anymore.
Oh, really?
So everyone tells me, which is a real bugger because I mean those things, 50 k's an hour is you get somewhere pretty much at the residential speed limit. And that thing will take me, if I drive it sensibly, not like flat stick, it'll take me probably 15 k's, 20 k's.
Wow.
But I guess it's because they're too fast. I don't want them on the. You can't put them on the pavement because it's dangerous. And on the road, it's not registered. So.
It's too slow.
Okay, yeah.
But on an island, well, that's a different story.
Perfect. Yeah.
Perfect. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, good.
The residents at Hamilton Island have a little bit of fun with the golf buggies. They some of the locals are known to drive them off the jetty there.
Yeah.
The water.
Not the locals, some of the employees that have have got nothing to do on a Saturday night.
In the water.
Yeah, it was so my girlfriend's sister used to work on the island, and the stories that used to come out.
We've had the same thing over here. The staff have taken buggies and crashed them into fire hydrants and not told anybody, and we've woken up the next morning with no water. And so they've really clamped down. Like we wanted to bring a golf buggy over, but they wouldn't let us with all these rules and stuff. So we just sort of stopped trying, and then one of our friends moved off the island and couldn't take it with him, and I think I've been here long enough to sort of be left alone by everybody, and just sort of slides under the radar.
Either that or want to be left alone by everybody.
Well, the island's full of all sorts. You've got the old retired ones that are very kind of, very particular, and they very, have their rules about how they live their life. And then you've got the other end of the scale. You've got people who've been on the island for just a little bit too long, and it's like the wildebeest people that are just consistently drunk and crashing into everything and anybody and getting barred every night from any pub because they're just belligerent. We put right in the middle there, we're friends with everybody and respectful to everybody, and we seem to be respected enough and liked enough that no one sort of comes up to us and tells us what to do.
How many people live on the island, Paul?
It's a great question. Quite a few in the resort. Quite a few staff live here full time. So if you don't include them, I would probably think around 100, maybe 150 at the most.
Oh wow! Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not a lot. It's the island's only 14 k's, top to bottom, and it's about a k wide at the widest. 2 k's wide at the widest place. So it's the world's biggest sand island.
Stradbroke, right?
South Stradbroke.
Stradbroke Island?
South Stradbroke, yeah.
North Stradbroke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful place, though, isn't it?
Mm.
Very nice place. Mm. Well, thank goodness for internet, hey?
Yeah, big time. Big time. Well, guys, I might just talk quickly about what I posted about, just so that it's on and everybody else can sort of find it without listening to Friday night beer stories. Just so that we're kind of clear on what the whole process is. Ironic that you're talking about holding a group session, because that's exactly the process that we want to roll out for you. Now, in saying that, obviously, you know, Lynn's done that before, and very, very successfully. And my background is holding group nights, holding seminars in a completely different field, which was debt reduction and mortgage reduction and investment property. So between the two of us, there's a lot of knowledge in group presenting. You know, there's a formula to it. Certain ways work, other ways, you know, they don't work. But the real key to what we have ahead of us here is that the ability to speak to a group of people at once and keep that going regularly is going to be very, very transformational for, you know, for your business, especially for you guys, Kim and Gary, because you've got the space to hold those evenings. So the process that I'm working on behind the scenes is we want to take everybody through a step-by-step weekly system where there's some weeks there's a bit of work, other weeks there's more so a lot of work, but it's taking you through following the formula that we know works to get you full gyms to talk to, because at the end of the day, that's what you need. And, you know, even if you're terrible at presenting, you know, you're still going to get some. So we want to work on making you a presentation that, you know, anybody can use and adapt, that does the job, which is get you sales. And there's that balance of, and Lynn will tell you the same thing, as I'm sure she probably learned in her early days, if you talk too much about what it is and how it works, people get bored and they kind of fall asleep in your room. They're like, you know what I mean? So as much as you want to give them everything, it's the same formula pretty much that we do in the one-on-one stuff. Is you're really only wanting to give them one solid bit of information with sort of 3 or 4 little things around it, and then have them at the end like gasping for more. And that's the presentation that that we want to help craft with what Lynn's already gotten and some other things, so that we can deliver a sort of a 45 to 60 minute big pack that really gets people engaged and excited, you know, and wanting more, that you can hold on a regular basis.
Grateful.
You know, weekly or fortnightly or monthly, whatever you're wanting to do. But the real value is, you know, if you can stick 30 to 60 people in your room, you know, with the right presentation, you're going to get very, very busy after that. And if you're charging, you know, say, even if it's only $500 for your program, which is a bit small, but if it's only $500 and, you know, you're doing, you know, 20, 30 people a month, for people coming in from around you to sit at these seminars, they start bringing their friends. Pretty soon you become that go-to hub, and consistency is the key, of course. Yeah. You know, 20 a month is an extra 10 grand a month. If you do $1,000 for your program, like, you know, Danny's done, it's 20K a month, you know, from holding one seminar. And that's just the front end. That doesn't count the back end where they're doing the gym stuff and the supplements and whatever else you've got in your sales funnel. So the process is it's very simple. It's tried and tested, and that is, the first thing is beginning to set some dates, doing some advertising locally, which will walk you through like on live calls and show you what to do and how to set it up. work on the system so that you can take the calls, book people in, you know, charge them 10, 15, 20 bucks to come to your evening so that they're actually committed to coming.
Mm-hmm.
And that you're making a bit of money, so you're sort of paying for your ads just with that little bit there, and then giving you the tools to convert them, put them in a system, and grow. And it's just a rinse and repeat cycle. So the first process, you know, it's going to be about 8 weeks of a bit of education and implementation. But once it's up and running, it's just a set and forget, you know, and then you become that go-to place in your area, where everybody can come to, and you can hold them as often or as little as you like, and you can refine the skills and, you know, turn it off if you get too busy, whatever you want to do. So that's really what it is. I've still got to build the bones of it out, but it's something that I think we just need to step up and get done for you, because that was our vision for everybody that came on board, was to be that successful, and you know, you guys are all ready, whether you know it or not. It's, you know, you've all got it. You've got the knowledge, you've got the support here with Lynn and myself. So I just think it's time to get it done, you know.
Yeah. And I found that doing seminars was the most effective, not only lucrative, but the most effective way of bringing people on board, because it's that collective power of people in a room. And you know, I used to charge anywhere between $20 and $50 for people to attend. And for example, one seminar that I did, I used to speak for 2 hours, and one of them in Gladstone, they had 20 ladies turn up, and I charged them $50. So for 2 hours, I had $20 times 50. And then out of that 20, I had 10 come on board at $5.99.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Fantastic.
That's a good conversion.
Yeah. So, you know, that was good. And then in New Zealand, I did a two-hour seminar, the exact same seminar, for a gym in New Zealand, and they had just on 80 ladies turn up, and they charged $20 each, so 80 times 20 for 2 hours, pretty good coin. And out of that 80, they had 35 ladies join, and that was at, I think, $3.89. Because that was just a gym type sort of, you know, scenario, but that was way back in the heyday. So, you know, $3.89 was sort of kind of appropriate then. But they had 35 out of that 80 join at $3.89, and which was great, you know, because I went in and did a seminar on behalf of that gym. But for me, for 2 hours, you know, I walked away, you know, very happy for 2 hours work, and they were like over the moon.
So Lynn, can I ask just a quick question? So for me, I don't belong, I mean, I go to a boxing class as a member, but I don't work in a gym.
Yep.
So for me, it would be about approaching those gyms and asking if I could present. Is that what you?
Yeah. Well, what is your target market? Nurses?
Yeah, it is. So, I mean, I could do like lunchtime seminars at work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably logistically easier for me, and I've already got the networks.
Mm-hmm.
But having said that, a lot of people I know do go to gyms, and there's a gym at the hospital.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing too, Kathy, is you know, your demographic is ultimately you're going to have to go online at some stage, or else you're going to have to buy yourself a hippie bus and travel, because there's only so many nurses in your area.
Yeah.
So depending on where you run with it, if you're just doing nurses, then I can tell you off the bat you're going to have to move online. And going online, it's the same model. It's just that your presentation's on a quote unquote webinar. A bit
exactly the same.
Of setting it up on the back end, but it's obviously doable. Or you're just going to have to branch out and focus on non-nurses, ordinary muggles, and hire a like a conference room somewhere, or
Yes. Yeah, and that's what I did as well. So what I did, I had gym owners and personal trainers invite me to come and talk on their behalf to their ladies. Now, some of them back in our heyday, when they used to partner with me to on-sell the hormone enhancement program. But there were also some personal trainers that didn't partner with me, but just invited me along so that their clients had access to, their the hormone enhancement program. And what I did was I just collaborated with the gym owner or the PT on how they should be exercising them. Okay, so basically I coached them and they exercised them. So that worked really, really well. So that's the really, if you've got a network of, PTs or gym owners too, that you can also do that as well.
Okay. I think the online probably for me appeals to me. Because I live in the Sunshine Coast too, it is a smaller, demographic up here. I think it'd be different if I was in Sydney or Melbourne or Brisbane.
Yeah, well, online, nurses and stuff. Like, one of the things that we've learned, Kathy, is that once you find your audience, and you start speaking directly to them with nurse language. I mean, I'll give you an example, unrelated, with some of the niche Facebook marketing that we do outside of menopause marketing, is one of the presentations that our team's been working on is how to find your soulmate. Right, like totally left of field and random. But as you're writing, as we're writing that, and we go out onto social media to find all the single ladies, for example, and figure out what their pain points are, as you go through and we're writing the whole, 15 to 20 minute education video. Like, you guys watched an education video coming to see us, right? It was either Lynn or myself. You watched one of the two. So it's the same thing that you'll have to do when it comes to you going online, because you'll need to educate them automatically. Otherwise, you have to speak to everybody, the same thing to educate them, and you don't want to be doing that. And the cool thing that you'll have is that by you knowing the language of your nurse, is you'll be able to speak really directly to them in that short little educational sequence. And one of the great things that does, and to give you an example, you'd be saying something like, here we go again, like another 12-hour shift. Your feet are already sore from yesterday. We've got no energy. Like, you just, you're talking that language. I don't know what it is, right? But hopefully I'm close-ish. And as you're going through that and you're structuring it in a certain way, and it's in front of the right people, you're going to have such an amazing traction rate, because who specifically helps nurses with menopause? Like, nobody. It's such a great little spot, which I've always thought, remember speaking to you the very first time ever. I was like, wow, that's a great little niche to carve out. So, you'll have great success online. You're probably going to need some help at some stage in writing all this stuff.
Yeah, I think for me, that's the biggest, and it has always been, is around how do I actually create that profile in social media effectively, and how do I actually generate more leads, from scratch, essentially, apart from, word of mouth is obviously awesome. And I'm very fortunate in that regard, but it's not, I still need to really focus on that online, so they have a place to come to, so that can be the conduit for the webinars and things like that. So I think that would be brilliant to be really, slick with that. I think the webinar and the content I feel comfortable with. but it's just getting that out there and you know what I mean, getting the framework right and the system and the processes in place.
Yeah. Well, if you like, we can maybe connect outside of these calls and see if there's a way that we can add some value to you just on that end. One of the things that we are noticing is it does seem to be holding a few of you up. It's this whole other field of, you know, we're here teaching it to you, but it's like that juggling act, you know. How do I do everything and then go and learn all this at the same time? Which for some of you, you will, because you're just like, I've always wanted to learn social media marketing, you know, and others of you are like, you're freaking kidding me? Can you just, how do you find someone to do it for me? Because I've got no interest. And that's really the whole scale of a business, you know, like it gets to a point where you just can't do everything. You have to think about systems and scaling and teams and, you know, who do you bring on board to do this and who does that? So, you know, it's valid to think about.
And to be fair, I think for me, I'm working full time, and the fact is I don't have enough capacity. And when I do drop my hours at my paid job, I feel like I'll be able to devote more energy into it.
Yeah.
Because the content I really enjoy and that's easy. So, you know, it's fun for me, but that other stuff is a hard yakka. And so I find that that's what I'm procrastinating about, to be truthful.
Okay. So if I just to be devil's advocate, and if I said to you now, knowing that you procrastinate, if anything was possible and you got rid of procrastination, would you be ready to go now? Or like, would you be happy with people coming at you now?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm ready to go. I've got everything set up, and I think, well, I've got in June the 13th is when I go part-time.
Oh, so you need to be going now. You need to be racing.
Yeah, that's it. So I need to replace my income at some point. So absolutely motivated, ready to go.
Okay.
And I did that deliberately so it would force my action, you know, because otherwise I could just keep going like this and never actually, you know what I mean? So I figured now I've got a goal and I really need to stick with that and take positive action.
And I think that's like super important, because it's like when you get your first client, it's like, oh, well, I've got to do it now because I've got my first client. But it's not until, you know, you can just keep going and waiting until you're perfect and until you get everything right and the bells and whistles and, you know, everything like that. That could be a year down the track. But, you know, when you get your first client, it's like, crap, I've got to do it now.
Yeah.
Okay. So forget about the bells and whistles. Just tell me what I have to do and I'll do it. Because, you know, you've got your first client. And then once you've got your first client, you get your second client and you get your third client, and it just starts to roller coaster. And before you know it, you've got a full-blown coaching business. But, you know, the best thing that anyone can do is just go and get your first client.
Yeah. I totally resonate with that, because I liked everything to be perfect. Yeah. And I realized, well, I'm not going to be perfect.
No. So, you know what? I was exactly the same, and I was so hung up on being perfect. And my coach at the time just says, just do it. And I'm like, oh, but hang on, this T is not crossed and this I is not dotted. And you know, when I just kept doing, you know, everything. And then I got my first client and I was so bloody excited, you know, and I rushed out to tell my husband, who was sitting on the couch, that I had my first client. And you know what? I didn't even have my program all done. And then suddenly reality kind of hit and went, oh, crap, I haven't got it all even sorted. But you know what? Paul hit the nail on the head. You are more ready than what you actually know. Because when you've got your first client, you just have to do it.
Yeah.
You can't go, no, I don't know.
Yeah.
Totally true. And I know that Gary and Kim, you'll get this buzz. I'm pretty sure you know the guy's name. His name's Dr. Joe Vitale. Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he and this is for you, Kathy, but I read a book of his called Zero Limits, which I've read now 2 or 3 times. It's an amazing book, and it's about being in the space of pure creativity and potential. So it's having a completely clear mind. And what the book talks about the most is an ancient healing Hawaiian technique called Ho'oponopono, which is a way of erasing, hecticness. It's about getting ourselves back to a zero state. So if you think about a whiteboard, which is your mind, if it's completely wiped, you're at zero, and that's where all creativity and pure creation comes from. If you're thinking about, am I ready? Just that one word, am I ready? You're not in creativity, you're in thinking mode. So it's
in lack mode.
Zero, right? Anyway, to get to the point, Joe Vitale has done a lot of seminars, and he's the kind of guy that would prepare like Lynn's talking about, like absolute preparation down to, have I got the documents ready? Is everything binded nicely? Is all the branding, like that kind of perfectionist? And he's working with this, Hawaiian healer who says, I want you to do your next seminar and go there with nothing, with no preparation. And he's like, what, are you kidding me? He's like, no, go there, no paperwork, nothing. He's like, well, can I take? He's like, no, nothing. You go there, nothing. You go there at zeros. And of course, you can imagine what that kind of thinking for him would be like. I gave the best seminar of his life, because it's like what comes out is perfect. It's always perfect for the people that you're talking to. I had a mentoring session today via the phone. Sorry, not via the phone, via Skype. Hang on a second. Via a Facebook group. From the Believe program, and it was just one person, and they got on there and they talked about their stuff. I had no idea what to say, and I just sat there and I stared at the camera probably for about 45 seconds, which is a really long time when you're on a live camera, not knowing what to say. And then just this laughter just burst through me, and I just sort of spoke about whatever came out, just knowing that it was going to be the right thing, because I trusted that what's in there was going to be right for what I was talking about. And he's like, I effing can't believe you just said that. He said, just after you said that, I saw this post. I was like, that's it, you're on it. So there's magic in not being prepared. There's so much magic.
Yeah, I totally agree. And in fact, I actually now I thrive in not being prepared, to a certain point, of course, but because it actually pushes you into that comfort zone. It really uncomfortable zone.
Let me tell you a story about Lynn. I love how she's done a complete 180 on me. So when we first met and we first joined forces, Lynn had to make 31 videos. And I was like, there's no script. I was like, what do you mean there's no bloody script? I was like, there's no script.
Me, Miss Perfectionist.
There's no script. I was like, just understand the concept. This is your audience. You talk to them about the concept. Put your own filter on it. And oh my God, the chickens that were getting thrown at me and the swear words, all this stuff. And fast forward however many years it's been, I was like, all right, Lynn, here's a script for the 3-minute video. She's like, I can't work with a script. I hate this fucking thing. Oh.
That's so true. I'd forgotten about that. There was that point where at the beginning I couldn't work without a script, and now it's like, what the fuck is this script for? I can't work with this. And oh gosh, thanks for the reminder, Paul. But look, you know what I was saying is, like, you just got to start. You just got to get in there and just bloody well start, you really do. Because, and my mentor, when I first started, he used to set the dates for me. So he would say, okay, on this date, you're doing a webinar. On this date, you're doing something else. And I'd be like, you know, but he would do it and I just had to perform. And, you know, it was like, whoa, I was so stretched the whole time. So stretched. But now webinars, to do a webinar, I mean, you know, especially when I'm talking about hormones, of course, I love it. I can talk for ages, you know, and it just kind of rolls out. And sometimes I go on a bit too far now, but, you know, it's just about getting in there and doing it, and it's really, really quite fun.
And also, Lynn, now from doing it, you're a real expert, you're content expert, which makes it easier, doesn't it? When you actually know the material, that's more comfortable, and you know what I mean? Like you can sort of feel really, confident in your knowledge and how you present it, and that comes across loud and clear. And I think that gives the audience, it gives you credibility. You know, when you're speaking with conviction.
You know what, Kathy, it's even a bit more than that, than the content. It's the passion behind it. You know, when you know, I've gone from a content-based person where, you know, I stood up and talked in my seminars, you know, where I was like so content orientated. Okay, they had to know this and had to know that, but now it's like people buy from the passion, you know, of it, and the enthusiasm. Okay, when you find that you're on purpose, you've got that enthusiasm, and it's like, you know, that's what draws people in, you know, and you know, they love the content, but when you're up there and you're engaging them and you're asking them questions and you're passionate and you just want to get out there and help them, and come on, I want to help you, what's wrong, you know, it's like, oh, okay, they buy from you. You know?
Absolutely.
The fastest thing that'll kill your sales is teaching content.
Totally
kill your sales.
No, and I get that totally. Because like you said, like you can give the content that's going to be a bit, you know, can be dry, can be very accurate, but it's not going to sell because people will lose interest, and it'll just be more material for them to have to learn, you know. So I totally agree. With that. And you can even make a very basic topic really interesting. If you've got passion.
And that's, you know, that's what people love. That's what women love, you know. They want to feel you, you know, and what you have to offer them.
Yeah, absolutely. So action, hey, that's it. Just take action.
So Paul, so the 8-week program that you were talking about, when are you thinking of that taking off? When are you thinking of starting that, mate?
Yeah, so today being Monday, we're going to put the bones of it together over this week, and we'll hold on next week's call, this call here, and we'll make sure that we promote it properly so that everyone's aware of it, everyone knows it. We can bring everybody on. Hopefully they've already watched this by this point. And we'll officially launch it so that everybody knows what's involved. Because there's nothing worse than getting on and going, oh, I didn't realise I had to do this, and then, you know, falling off. I'd rather not have, I don't mean this in a nasty way. It's better to know what's coming up so that you can commit to the whole process and get it done versus going, oh, I didn't know. So I just want to work out that part, because there is an element of creating as we go. But give us the week to get this out right, and we'll officially roll the whole thing out next Monday night's call.
Sounds really good.
Yep, sounds good.
Cool.
It's really
exciting.
It's really good of you guys to put it together, because you're right. It probably is a little bit of the missing bit of the sort of puzzle, I guess. Yeah. But no, it's great. Really good. We're very grateful.
We are.
Just out of interest, while you guys are here, Gary. Oh, actually, Gary, I was going to ask you a quick favour. I need to go to the gym, and you're too far away, so I'm not coming down to see you. But I wondered if you had.
Don't blame you. It's cold.
If you'd be able to point me in the direction of any kind of workouts, that would be good. I'm trying to figure out a full body workout. I figure if I go to the gym every day for half an hour, it's better than thinking about it for 6 months. And I just don't know where to start. Yeah.
Why don't we set you up on?
We'll set you up. We'll set you up on a program.
Yeah.
Really? Would you do that? That'd be amazing.
Oh, we would. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we
I'll get your email address.
and then sort of there, like we'll send you a little. We'll send him a little questionnaire.
I'll send you a message.
And then just sort of give us a bit more insight into like your goals and a bit of background. Like
sorry for laughing, but I like. Hang on, I'll explain myself in a minute. I'm sorry. Have you seen it's so funny. Have you seen their videos and what they do in their videos, Paul?
I'm gonna
love this program, eh?
Hey, Paul, it's pretty kinky shit, I'll tell you what, mate. It's kinky shit. No, not really.
I remember seeing one video and you were doing one thing and Kim was doing the other one, and I was like, I'd rather watch Kim if that's all right, but I didn't type it because it
So would I. So would I, mate. That's all right. So would I.
I totally.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. We'd love to help you out. Yeah.
Oh, cool, mate. Thanks.
We can do that. We'll set you on a little app and you'll be ready to go.
Yeah, we'll record it for Lynn.
Yeah. And make sure you record you doing the workout too, please, Paul.
That's what I mean.
Oh, too funny. Too funny.
All right.
I know, that's awesome.
So we'll contact you. Did you get Paul's email?
No, I'll get it from Messenger.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We'll
send you a Messenger.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's cool. And Kathy, I'll send you a message and maybe we can connect offline and just see if we can give you a good kickstart so that you can launch your program on time.
That'd be awesome. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Lynn.
Yeah, no problem at all. That's wonderful.
Nice to meet you, Kathy.
You'll do well, Kathy. You'll do really well.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. So will you. You're already doing it.
We'll get there. Don't worry.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for jumping on tonight. Very, very, very grateful. Thanks for the laugh. It was
You got to laugh.
Oh, okay. Thanks for my laugh.
Oh, yeah, I love you.
Yeah, you got the best laugh.
Your laugh's very infectious.
Yeah, it is so
my husband always says he can pick me out in the crowd just by my laugh.
Yeah, he would.
I love it.
But oh goodness me! All right, thanks, guys. Have a wonderful night.
Thanks for coming.
I'll talk to you.